This week on Cantina Chronicles, the Cantina crew talks in depth about a recent interview with Shawn Levy, director of the upcoming Star Wars feature film, Starfighter. Where has he been? Where is he headed? And what does his affection for Star Wars mean for his upcoming film? Let's go.
Podcast Alright guys, podcasts I like are obsessed with fake rocks in theme parks.
Yeah.
And
what are they made out of? Is it poisonous? Can I lick it?
They literally did a Sweet 16 fake rock off like brackets while they were parks. And I think Galaxy's Edge came in second, was in the championship, and I can't remember who they lost to. But yeah.
I would have expected more out of Galaxy Edge fake rocks.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of good fake stuff there. All right, welcome to Cantina Chronicles. This is a weekly Cantina crawl across the Star Wars galaxy where we have delightful discourse about all things Star Wars, including news, notes, and theory, synthesizing all media. We contextualize your canon. We are your landing pad for all things Star Wars. Grab a seat and let's chop it up. Grant and Adam, how you doing, guys?
I'm excited to synthesize with you guys right now.
Let's synthesize, bro.
It's all I ever want every day. Like it's always time to synthesize with the guys. Let's do it.
Oh,
your name for the pod? All right.
Oh, synthesize with the guys. Star Wars story. It's good to be talking in the galaxy far, far away. At this point, we are unreliable narrators. This is not a campaign pod. We'll get there. We're going to stop telling you when we're going to do them, and we'll just keep you on your toes. But nonetheless, it is another week, and Star Wars exists. Therefore, we are here and excited to talk about some Star Wars things. We're going to actually go in deep on the most recent interview, or one of the most prolific interviews with Shawn Levy, done by Kevin McCarthy on his podcast On Film, and we're going to pull out some selects from that and talk about the ramifications of those things. Pretty excited about it. But first, Adam, you had something you heard a rumor, I heard.
Yeah, so this rumor is a rumor. That's why we're doing it first, because this is not at all reliable, but it has been making its way around the internets, which I think is interesting. There's been some casting rumors floating.
All right.
And specifically casting rumors surrounding Chloe Bennett. Does that name sound familiar to anyone?
Yes. Wait. Yeah, from the Marvel show there.
Yep, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, she played Quake. She eventually became Quake.
Yes.
Yeah. Any guesses who she might be playing in the Marvel in the Star Wars universe?
Oh, a named character?
Yeah, named character. Not yet on film.
No character.
Dr. Schmafra? Is that what it rhymed with?
Dr. Afra.
I love that casting.
Yeah,
it's an okay casting. I'm a little. You gotta prove it. But I like her, and so we'll see. But the thing that I'm really excited about is like at least they might be talking about casting a live action Dr. Afra, which is all I've ever wanted.
I remember there were like 5 years ago. So how long have we been doing this pod?
Well, I know you're gonna say. Yeah.
We did like I think a ranking of like who we'd cast, but I remember doing a search for that, and Chloe Bennett was like number one with a bullet. A lot of fans wanted her, so this could just be a fan fever dream, trying to will it into existence. But I love it. I'd be down with that.
Yeah, I feel like I heard this exact same rumor like 10 years ago.
I know. Yeah.
Dude, have you looked, like, if as fans, our listeners as well, it's like, how's your aggregator for Star Wars looking these days?
I just get sequel
for these journalists.
We talk about it.
And I'm using like air quotes about journalists because it's like internet people, who knows, of dubious distinction, right? But it's like they're still coming up with content every day, new story, and you're like, oh, you have like one of the, like, I love our job. We can talk about Star Wars forever because we can just pull a thing and like really think about it as a team. but like they're just like, okay, how do we get people in?
I
Like,
think we
talking
try to
about Star Wars?
purport from like known outlets and good sources.
Yeah.
Yes.
Variety,
these
Hollywood
are-
Reporter,
yeah,
Deadline.
usually.
Like that's usually what
That's why I will make it clear,
Yeah.
not a known or good source, but it made its way around the internet and it made me
Okay.
excited. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. But like my hope is it's out of a nugget of truth that like there's conversations about.
Yeah.
I honestly thought Shawn Levy was a match made in heaven for Afra. Like back to Shawn Levy.
Oh, yeah.
Not to
Oh, that
pivot
would've
there
been
too
great.
early, but like
Yeah.
the sensibility in Deadpool and Wolverine is
Yes.
incredible. Just an
Very
incredible
Afra-coded.
sort of like vein of comedy that I think just was on the rise with Ryan Reynolds, obviously wanting to rebrand the part or recreate the part to be more faithful to the character in the comics, in being the Merc with the mouth, and just so much dialogue, just jam packed.
Yeah.
But that I almost imagine that for Afra. I imagine Afra has just so much sort of dialogue and inner thought, outer thought that she's expressing, and I feel like you have the droids.
Yep. I mean, it's right for that.
Sonostaros. You have like really cool characters you can pull on,
and you need pathos and trauma there too. I think that's a core part. I think after
it's the Deadpool story
that,
in a way. After reading the Spurrier run, it's sort of like it's incredibly tragic and it's tough. But there's also a lot of comedy in her sort of like day to day.
It is the funniest for sure.
Yeah, meandering.
Yeah, it's definitely dark comedy.
Yeah.
I would, he would definitely do a great job.
Which we'll cover the miniseries just wrapped up, the new Dr. Afra miniseries, so we'll cover that sometime in the near future. Yeah.
All right, Afra or Starfighter? If they announced Afra instead of Starfighter, would you be almost? It's hard to gauge that and look back retrospectively, but like if you just heard that and Shawn Levy attached, what would you guys think? Starfighter or this? Like
Afra. But my answer is always Afra, so don't ask me. Like,
and it's just nostalgia, sort of piercing the heart there. And
this is a good transition, bro. Because after this interview, I think I'm pro Starfighter.
You were pro Starfighter before this interview.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, I would choose it over Afra. To answer your question.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Sell me. I'm so excited for you to sell me on this. Yeah.
Well, so this interview, he said a lot and a lot. Kevin McCarthy is a fantastic interviewer, and they were like so stoked to like just geek out together. And this is really my first time like sort of seeing Shawn Levy and like just getting a measure of the man like talking. And he was like just so excited. He has so much energy. He's so excited, and he's so excited, but he's also very with that frenetic energy. It's controlled, channeled energy, and he's like very precise about what he says and what he does. And but I liked his vibe, man. His whole thing seems to be like uber preparation to allow for like making it up on the spot for improvisation. That's what I was trying to say. Like if I'm this prepared, and then he's like, yeah, but like he always knows he needs to pivot at the end, and he wants to use his actors to sort of make his films better, and he's always trying to make his films better. And he gave examples of how he backed it up. So
I mean that's interesting, right? It rings to me of like Lord and Miller, but Lord and Miller went too far, maybe the other direction of like pure improvisation without a plan.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, we can talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Did he direct Deadpool 2, or did you just direct Deadpool and Wolverine? I know I just asked you.
I think just Deadpool. Wolverine.
Yeah, because I think that movie nails Deadpool the best of the three movies, and I think it's
the best script of the three movies.
It is, but you can feel him. You can feel that there's control in that movie, and also a lot of fun. Like you could feel that with on the set that they probably had a lot of takes.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the interview, but I feel like he's like, know your script, know your story, and then you can sort of like branch out from there.
Exactly, that's the thing. And he cited an example with Ben Stiller. So he did the Night at the Museum movies. And by the way, that Deadpool and Wolverine is the highest grossing rated R movie of all time.
Yep.
Which I didn't know. And
I thought everyone knew that. But
so this is all new to me, man. I'm I'm a super
crazy.
Casual. Like I don't really know anything about this dude. And then so like I looked at his thing, and like he was kind of like the family populist like movie director for a long time. Like he made family movies and made a lot of money, proportional to costs. For those movies, they're all considered hits because they were all, made $100 million. And it's like, who's going to sneeze at $100 million, right?
What really excited me about him was like how he thought about approaching sequels, and even in his film Starfighter, this is going to be a continuation of sort of the Star Wars legacy, and it in a way it's sort of a sequel to an IP, right? No matter what it is. And the way he spoke about it was really elegant and elucidating towards like his Night of the Museum movies as an example. He said, you know, each one had to be different, and yet it had to give fans a little bit of what they loved about Night of the Museum, and sort of like constant, you know, new historical figures, and they're all doing like really fun, like there's cool, interesting gimmicks with each character. And then also characters from the past from the previous films are coming back in these second and third films, and sort of him experiencing all that and going through it all. And Stranger Things, obviously, you know, directing episodes in each season of that show, and sort of like he is, and Deadpool and Wolverine, like he is good at creating a sequel or a continuation of a known IP or a known entity that he may have not directed to start too. So that's
make it feel in tone and like part of a whole. You know what? I just had a realization because I was looking at his thing, because you mentioned the Night Museum and I forgot about that. And like I mean those movies are fine, but here's the thing: is he the first director in the era of sequel trilogies that's actually directed movies for kids, right? Because JJ's never directed kids movies, right? They're always
Super 8 is a kids
Super 8,
but hold on, but it's PG-13, right? Like it is. But I would say like it's whatever. And then Rian Johnson has never directed anything close to a kids movie, which is fine.
Brick is such a kids movie. Are you kidding me?
I know. Well, you know, I did love it when I was of that age. But
actually, I was weirdly young when I saw Brick.
Right. But do you know what I mean? Like he actually like cut his teeth on knowing what 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds want in a theater, which is not a bad way to start a Star Wars. Is like still like bring it up, but like know what brings the kids in.
So that's the thing. It's like he's a human being. He's a multifaceted human being. And I want to get into all this because he talks about all these things, but he cannot be pigeonholed into one thing. I mean, he did Real Steel, but the guy knows.
You're talking about the genre, how he's able to do different genres.
He can do different genres,
different tone and emotion,
and he's also he can also evolve. And he talked about sort of like how Stranger Things was a springboard for. Like he's like, I did a genre piece, which I never thought I'd be able to do. And suddenly that opened the door really for Star Wars. But I'll get into that later. I want to start at the rock center of like why I would choose this over an Afra. And that was because, and I'm trying to pull the quote here exactly.
But this is still from Shawn Levy, this Afra that I posed.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
This is kind of,
you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm confused about. Yeah.
I'm going to hold my ground, and I'm going to say Shawn Levy Starfighter, not Shawn Levy Afra, because what he said, and he made it very clear, he did not want to make this movie derivative. He was like, nope. He's like, when I went to the story was announced,
good at doing that.
He is.
He's really good at bringing back elements you know and love that in a really sort of like elegant canonical.
Yeah, well, that's the balance you were talking about, where it's sort of like when you're doing a sequel. And he talked about it as like starting on second base, because it's like, all right, the fans already know kind of the basics of the world, and then, but it's like he said this isn't really. So he wants this to be unlike everything. And just not derivative. He's like, when I was at the like Star Wars celebration and people were stoked, he's like, I could feel in the room, everyone was excited about something new, something fresh, and something great. And
that's what he said his note from the story group was. His note from the story group was, make it new.
Good.
Yeah. Quote. That was it. And I was like, that's fascinating. I really, and having talked to so many Star Wars fans in the last, decade, I just feel like that is where the consensus lies. It's a lot of us just wanting something fresh,
which is new because it was a nostalgia bait. Like when the sequel trilogies came along, and that's what I mean. Love or hate, Force Awakens. It is the most nostalgia bait movie maybe of all time. It might be, even though I love it, and I'm gonna watch it at Christmas because it's my Christmas movie. But like, here's the thing. Evolve or die, right? That's where we're at Star Wars right now. Evolve or die. Yeah.
And we've been talking about a lot lately. Like Lucas is always just like, no, it should be brand new every time. It should be like totally fundamentally different. So, so Shawn was saying like it's entirely new planets. entirely new cast of characters, entirely new droids. It's like it's going to show you something you've never seen before. And there, and he talked about his call with Kathleen Kennedy, and he said that it was like in the most stressful moment of his life. Like he was like finishing up one movie and then writing another one at the same time, and then like Kathleen's calls. And he said he didn't really know her. He's like, I've had like 2 conversations with her, but we're going to unpack this soon. He said, I was one of 50 people that raised their hands when, of 50 directors that raised their hands when Lucasfilm was bought by Disney. Like, apparently Kathleen said something out, and people, like a bunch of directors were like, I'll do a Star Wars. Yeah. And he was one of them. And like that, I would love to talk more about like who those 50 people are and what, yeah. But and so that's
in life, you just gotta jump into things.
That's also like, isn't that like all of them?
Well, yeah, right. I mean,
that's great.
Who knows? It's like, I wonder how many of those 50 we could list, right? Certainly a bunch of them we've seen, Rick Famuyiwa, like, Deborah Chow, probably that could have been that pool that she's pulling from. But she like essentially cold called him and like, do you want to make a Star Wars? And he's like, all right, like which one, what character, what do you want me to build around? She's like, I just want a Shawn Levy Star Wars.
It's also funny that like all the cynics out there are thinking this call happened after Deadpool and Wolverine, but it happened 2 years before.
It had to have, based on the timing. I keep forgetting that. You're right.
Yeah. So Shawn Levy was a known entity, but he hadn't directed the highest grossing
he was like
movie
finishing
of all time,
up Night at the Museum.
Yeah.
And she was just sort of like, she said, give it heart and make it fun.
Yeah. Was it around the Adam Project or Free Guy? Because like the Adam Project,
I think Adam Project area
is a love letter to Star Wars. If you watch that film, it is a love letter to Star Wars. It's not the best film, but he clearly loves Star Wars. There's just lightsabers. He brings in lightsabers in that movie.
Fall Guy also had the lightsaber, and I imagine
that
was a conversation with Lucas, right? Yeah. Like, so he must have been in contact with them at that point, being like, all right, so license for lightsabers? Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, he did say like the movie, and he's like, I know this sounds so cliche. He's like, but it's true. He's like, A New Hope 1977 was what's like turned me into a filmmaker. Like, was the first like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And
he's like, you think I'm going to say Godfather Part 2 or Apocalypse Now, but like it really is like Star Wars and all that stuff. Like he could give like the candid answers of like what his favorite films are. I forget what the question was.
Yeah.
But Star Wars was like one for him, which I was like, that's huge. And then him throughout the interview saying, you just got to get this stuff right, was actually super endearing to me and something I really, really admired, because I just feel like I haven't seen anyone get it right yet. Like Rian Johnson does so many things right that I love, and scenes that are just perfect. Like it just 110% the best Star Wars ever. And then Leslie Headland has the vision of what feels like George Lucas almost coming back to the fold, and I love it. It's incredible, but there's so many aspects that people are getting really close to it, but I haven't felt like we've hit it yet.
Right.
So people are getting in their own head about it, I feel like sometimes. And Shawn Levy, I just did the math. I looked at this. He was 9. He was 9 when A New Hope came out.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of perfect?
Perfect age.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Nailed it. Yeah. But that's why he said his favorite movie was Return. So he was 9. So then he was 6 years later was Return in 1983.
15.
So 15. And he was like, that was the movie. He's like, I felt like that was a perfect Star Wars.
That's fascinating. But that's fascinating because most 15-year-olds.
That's why I'm rocking my Return.
I love it.
Right now.
Most 15-year-olds at that time were very cynical about Return of the Jedi. Like
not Shawn
not
Levy.
Him. That's what I love. Like he's a 15-year-old that saw that, like us, like would have been a 15 going, I love the Ewoks. Why is everyone mad about this? Like, this is great. Like, I love that.
Yeah. I mean, but he was just sort of like, he's like, the opening sequence was amazing. Mm-hmm. He's like, it had the perfect amount of heart and action and like, set piece moments and like all, it's a fantastic movie. And that sort of was the one that resonated most with him. But, I don't know. So I just feel like this combination, everything he says is like, and like what you were just saying, Grant, about like, he said, like, there's nothing as religious as the attachment to Star Wars fans to Star Wars of any movie, group. He's like, no, nothing. He's like, like Marvel fans are diehard. He's like, it doesn't compare to Star Wars. I completely agree with that. I think it's got to be like it. And the fact that he used the word religious, I'm like, yeah, that's the word. Like, it's something else. It's modern mythology. It's supposed to feel like a higher connection to something more primal and core.
That's why you got to get it right, like
Yep.
you keep saying throughout the interview. And then, and then him talking. He's when they were talking about his favorite Star Wars films, and then I'll get back into that topic of sort of why he likes Return and why Starfighter. He wants Starfighter to feel like Return, which I really want to talk about for another hour.
Yeah.
But he keeps saying, I could say the cool answer, which is Empire. Like, Empire is my favorite Star Wars movie. I could say that, but in my heart of hearts, it's Return of the Jedi. Like, when I was a kid and I went to that movie, it had such a nice, like what you said, Ben, like a balance of just creatures and effects and sound design and new characters and planet hopping, and then the tonal shifts in that movie are insane. It's basically like an interesting heist in an underworld to go to Rebel Command, to go to this climactic throne room battle at the end. It's like it's so, and then Endor obviously, and it's
juxtaposed with the largest space battle.
It's so cool, right? And then a huge space battle, and it's almost like the perfect framing for a space battle too.
It is. Grant,
it kind of touches your point. It kind of touches everything.
Yeah.
It's
well,
like
the space battle makes a lot of sense in that movie. And if he uses that for Starfighter, if that's the framing for a space battle in Starfighter, that's
one
awesome.
that makes the most sense. Like, everyone's been like angling for this fight. So, Grant, I was thinking the exact same thing while you're talking. I'm like, should I redo my list and put Return at number 1? Because
I just pulled up the list, by the way. I have them on hand for you guys.
Okay.
We could end the episode with that. So because that is my first Star Wars memory is watching that at the TVs at Sears. Like, literally, like watching like the scaffold, the scene where Vader confronts Luke and looks at the lightsaber. It's literally my first Star Wars memory, even though I know I saw it before then, but it's like my first one that I realized. And when I think about playing in the sandbox, I literally would just play Tatooine opening of Return of the Jedi. Like, that's what I would do with my figures. And that movie's wild because it's the closest Star Wars to a Bond film, because it has an extended opening that doesn't feel very connected to the rest of it. Right. It has an extended opening scene, which is the Jabba's palace. And then the rest of the movie is just
explodes.
Yeah.
But you have the very small, like, insurgent battle on one planet, and then the comic relief of the Ewoks. And then on the other one, you have this very heavy lore driven.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's the only Star Wars from the original trilogy that I actually saw on its original run. I was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So I didn't get it, but I loved it.
Yeah. Right.
I dragged my dad there, like.
Yeah.
When is Starfighter coming out?
Oh,
2026 or 2027?
That's a really good question, man. If only there was some way to know.
The end of 20.
I mean, they're full in production right now.
So. Yeah, because the reason I'm asking is my daughter will either be 6 or 7, and I'm
May
like,
28th, 2027.
Yes,
May 27th.
That's going to be her first Star Wars.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm totally taking her to that.
Yeah, so I'm bullish on it, man. I mean, everything, like, all right, so let's. Okay, so I want to say this before we get into it, because I have a big question for you that could carry us on. But so he said, that, like, really, like, I mean, I said before, like, Stranger Things, like, unlocked something in him, and he was like, I can do this. And this is something we don't talk about enough on this podcast, where it's like, these people grow, like, the more you do your art, the better you get. And it's like, he's been like a real populist, like, fastball down the middle, like, screenwriter for a long time. And he's made really good popular movies that touch 4 quadrants and make everyone happy, and you walk away. Like, he made Real Steel. I loved Real Steel. And I was like, I remember watching that, and I'm like, yeah, I know what this is about. But, like, and it's pithy, but like, I was there for the emotional ride for the whole time, and I had a blast with it.
Never saw it.
He only has one.
I will check it out.
It's Deadpool Wolverine.
Which is hilarious, because I just realized huge Jackman is in that, right? So,
yeah, he's the main character. Yeah.
So that's how we got him for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Well, I mean, and other reasons, but they clearly worked together before. But I mean, the way he listens to people, he pivots. He said, but so I just feel like maybe he found another gear. and he's found another gear now. And because he's clearly a student of the craft, the fact of like how he, his process of being like, I am always prepared. I have A, B, and C like prepared before I go into every scene that I do. But then he's like, I encourage, collaboration, improvisation.
Yeah.
He said the third act of Starfighter entirely changed from the script.
That's right. He said this with confidence in such a blasé sort of manner, and it wasn't like it's like that's pretty astounding that like you basically had an ending for a very long time and then it sort of completely shifted. That's fascinating.
So and he says he's like, I am so glad, and it sounded like it might have been a practical thing, like they had to like, oh, we can't do this, so we have to do this. But he's like, I'm so glad it happened. He's like, because it's such a better movie. And it made me think of you, Grant, because I know when we have this pod and we're talking about things and we feel one way for a while, but the more we talk about it, more things come out. And then like, I know you have your story and I know how you work on your scripts. And then you're like, everything had to change. It had to be this thing because you keep working at it. And I'm just like, that's probably how it works for, for
film was never really finished, right? It's sort of like, there is something that is captured in time space.
But if you don't leave yourself open to that, if you're so locked into your process, you'll miss it. And then you'll make, a J.J. Abrams movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I know.
I'm sure he finds stuff along the way as well.
I haven't made anything. What do I know?
I think people really like the idea of reshoots was kind of brought to the fold, after The Force Awakens in a sort of mainstream way. Yeah. That I don't think a lot of people talked about reshoots before that film, and because that film had really pop, it was really well known that film had reshoots.
I mean, the best thing that happened to that film is that
it's awesome. Those reshoots are awesome that he did, and I'm like, I don't discount JJ. Like he has really great ideas, and I think reshoots are actually should be, and they are now built into all.
JJ did the assignment. He did the assignment, right? Like he got me right back in. I still love the Force. It did what it's supposed to do. It got you back in. And then other stuff happened. So what I was going to say is that I feel like it's interesting about him rewriting it. If it comes from a place of having to adjust because of restrictions, I kind of like that better than him just going, oh, I thought of something cooler. Because like think about the best movies have come out of a place of not being able to do what you want to do. Jaws, RoboCop,
right?
Like, these movies
they brought up Jaws. They talked about Jaws in this interview.
Yeah, which I'm like, that's great. Like, I think that actually boxing a filmmaker in, I think, tends to sometimes create better films, right?
Yeah,
because they have to figure it out and solve
create your way out of it, and it opens doors. He was very Jedi-like in the way he talked about it. He was just sort of like, there's no such thing as accidents. He's like, this is just the way it's supposed to be. It's like when things will happen and things will change and obstacles will come in your path, and then it just has to go this way. And he's just like, you need to be able to use the tools you have available. So anyways, like I'm high on this dude. I'm bullish on Shawn Levy. I think like it's going to be great. I think I'm going to be in a place where I'm going to watch it. I'm going to have a great time, and I'm going to be like, why can't this guy get a trilogy? Which is like, which can't happen. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it might, right? We don't know what this movie is. Yeah. And there's part of me that wonders if
we'll leave a door open.
They're going to leave a door open. They're never going to shut a door. And if they do shut the door, there's a window that he can crawl through, right? Like if he makes
compelling characters and they exist.
Yes.
And then it's like, well, why don't we tie this into the Simon Kinberg trilogy? Like,
think of it this way. Rogue One should never had anything come out of it, right? Everyone dies, and yet they found a way to continue the story
and give us like maybe the best thing we've had,
right? Like they will find a way.
Yeah.
I also love that he'll shoot several takes, and in those takes have like put dialogue that he'll put in different parts of the film. Like there's apparently in the interview he said there's a line that he really loves and he can't wait to put the film, and he shot it in two different scenes.
Yeah,
and he's deciding in the edit where he wants to put that line. And I'm like, is this a new line or is this? I have a bad feeling about this. I think that's what I would do if I was ever directing.
It felt like a new line to me. Like,
no, it definitely felt like a new line. I'm just saying, if you do want to put "I have a bad feeling about it," that's not a bad line to shoot like in 5 different scenes.
That's a good point.
It's like we could use it here, and it would be really good here. Or we could use it here.
Don't force it. Give yourself options.
There's so many ways that line could come in that almost like. I don't want to say like
that. Like that's
requirement.
Perfect example of him embracing the organic nature of making art and like leaving yourself open to the possibility to pivot to make the thing better.
Yeah.
And that shows me he's pretty elastic in terms of this ending, and that's cool to me. And I do wonder if it was a restraint, and I do wonder if it came down to had the scope of maybe a giant space battle, like a Starfighter battle, and how much is going on.
How can it not end like that? Yeah, but
yeah.
I hope it's just not another incident where Matt Smith gets cut from.
I know, right?
Third act of a film.
I kind of do. I kind of hope it actually happens.
Matt Smith, that's it.
Yeah,
You're like, I love everything. Just the Matt Smith role. Do we need it?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
It's like we've been here before. Yeah, it's like no.
The other thing I will say is I know this all happened before Deadpool and Wolverine, and when I heard about this, I was a little like, I mean, I know it'll be a fun movie, just like I know The Mandalorian Grogu will be a fun movie, but will there be any depth to it? I still don't think there'll be any depth to Mandalorian Grogu.
I told you my pitch was it sets up the underworld side of.
I love that.
I love that galactic.
Don't hold your breath. It's going to be a 4-quadrant film with one little thing that happens for us uber nerds. But the more I hear about Shawn Levy, the more I feel like, no, he's going to do something. He's going to add something to the lore. Even if it's not Jedi based, it's going to be something there for us. And the more I think about Deadpool and Wolverine, which is easy to just write off as, because Ryan Reynolds is a big personality and he doesn't do this on purpose, but it feels like he owns Deadpool and everything that happens is his thing.
Yeah.
And Shawn Levy came into Marvel, this blockbuster giant has made 25 movies, came in, said, I'm going to make an R-rated film. I'm going to make it true to Ryan Reynolds' vision and Deadpool, and did it in a way that didn't back down and was pretty subversive. Like, you watch that film, there's still things in that movie, and I'm like, kind of amazed they got away with some of the stuff they did in that film for a Marvel movie.
And Adam, he called it a love letter to Fox Marvel.
It is.
That's what it is.
Which I'm like, Wesley, did you say that out loud?
Yes.
He said that at the time of release. I'm almost
Jennifer
certain.
Garner shows up. Like, that's the thing that I was blown away when I was watching that film. I'm like, Marvel, like MCU was okay with bringing Wesley Snipes while they have a Blade movie dying on the vine.
Yeah.
And then let them make a joke about dying on the vine, which I mean, like, yeah, corporations, like, whatever, you make $1 billion, I don't care. But still, like, that he was confident enough to put that in there and stand by it. With any other filmmaker, I'm like, either A, wouldn't have told that joke, or would have just been like rolled over if they said anything about it. Right.
I mean, the Chris Evans gag as Human Torch is like, I mean,
I forgot about the Human Torch.
Like, you can just see them writing that and being like, this would be so funny.
I love
and
that
Chris
so
Evans
much.
being like, I mean, that was part of it, but I mean, I thought that was kind of like, like we're kind of making fun of it, but he's like, no, those are great movies. Like me, I watched those movies and I had a good time watching them, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah,
the best part of that movie to me is Deadpool's birthday party.
Yes,
and all the dialogue within that sequence, and when he's talking to Buck. And he goes, those are my feelings on religious freedom, animal rights, privacy rights, vaccines, free market capitalism, and global climate change. And then Buck starts to talk and stops him from talking. I was like, I just die laughing.
It's so good. He's so good.
He walks away.
But he also has heart, right? Because like in that movie, that movie is I mean, one of the best scenes ever is just their fight in the car. The car fight scene is just amazingly directed. But then you have
scene, basically like,
what's that?
It's basically a sex scene in the movie.
Yes, exactly.
It
really is framed like a sex scene. But then you have was it X13? Why can't
X13?
Yeah, you have Laura Kinney. I know her like name in the comics, but I can't think of her code name.
Like, X34. No, wait.
It's
are we really
you look it up
on this right now?
It is emotionally gratifying in a way that I was not expecting. Like the end scene where she is alive and in the new universe, I like genuinely actually teared up a little bit in the end of this dumb ass movie. Like he could do it.
X23.
23.
Why did we blank on that?
There? I don't know. Laura Kinney. Can you give me points for Laura?
Yeah,
Kinney?
You get Laura Kinney points for Laura Kinney.
She's the all new Wolverine. She has a.
If you said Daphne Keane, you would have gotten like
Daphne
50
Keane.
extra
She
points.
has a clone. She has a clone who's named Honey Badger in the comics. Come on, I know what I'm talking about here.
And no one's gonna like take your nerd card, bro. You're safe. Pretty funny. The another huge announcement here. This is essentially he broke the news on this pod that Thomas Newman would do the score, and we mentioned this like 2 pods ago. But yeah, I did a little like research on him. So Shawshank Redemption, Finding Nemo. There's a million other like really like he's a stud, and like I mean Kevin McCarthy, like they joked like he didn't hear anything after he made that announcement, like from anything else that Shawn Levy said, because it was just like that's all I could think about. And they geeked out about him. I don't know anything about him, like admittedly.
Yeah.
So I started doing some sort of like checking out some like making of with Thomas Newman videos. Like YouTube's like, oh, do you want to hang out with Thomas Newman when he's like making coffee in the morning? You can do that because there's a YouTube video of it.
Sweet.
But yeah, and so he seems like a vibe scorer. He's like, like it's, they talked about like what he wanted, and he was like, I want him to lean into multi-theme things. He's like, I don't want it to just be like, oh, and you're teasing like John Williams cues through the whole movie. He's like, it can't be that. He's like, but I do want you to like classically inspired and thematic multi-theme like things, not one theme that's sort of like is teased and then comes to full fruition at the end. Where he's talked about like the Luke and Leia, the Leia theme and the Force theme and like everything we know and love about John Williams and how it regards to Star Wars. So it's like it's gonna be kind of like a John Williams score done by Thomas Newman in his own voice. And but I'm pretty excited about it because he's like kind of he's just a viber, bro, and he really embraces electronic music. He embraces effects. He embraces manipulation.
Yep.
He's just like, yeah, man. He's like, I called it braiding. Like, I just took this, like, I played this piano part and then I dropped it like a bunch of octaves, and it's just like the way that like notes like interplay. Like, I don't know, it just felt right. Like, he's like, I don't even know what I did here. Like, like that sort of stuff. He just gets in it and does it and makes amazing scores.
Yeah.
And he uses a wild palette of different sounds. And so my take on it is that I think we're going to get a Williamsy sort of like style with themes, but I think it's going to have a very modern feel to the music.
That's exciting. I feel like you nailed it because I have like the Spotify. I think I have like, I don't know, 1,600 songs. It's basically every Star Wars anything that's ever been made in a playlist that I just play when I'm reading or working. That's in the background, and I can almost always identify when it's a Williams score or when it's a Goranson score. The rest is like sometimes I can get Kleiner, sometimes I can identify Kleiner, but other than that, it's just like kind of just goes into Kleiner. It kind of just goes into a whatever.
Nicholas Pertel though. That's
some of them, yes.
Locked in on that?
I think so. Only because his sounds so distinct. But
and it's the same 6 notes in every song.
It's great. This is not saying he's not great, but I think what happens is the reason I can identify it's those two is they have themes for characters and the rest don't. And I think that is the key thing is like, Williams, I will have the Rey theme stuck in my head. I heard it this morning and it'll be in my head for the next week and a half. And I'm like, that makes me so excited. I think it's less about
hot take. That theme's kind of boring.
I hate you, Grant. So that is the best.
Takesman has arrived.
Meow, meow.
Meow, meow, meow. I think it like perfectly captures the moment.
So
no. But I hate to say
regardless,
it's not true.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, but regardless, but there's the Kylo theme. There are themes to characters.
You're wrong.
And that's
I am wrong because speaking of theme and to what you're talking about, Adam, like in the Shawn Levy interview, he really gets into working with Danny Elfman out of all composers. He name drops Danny Elfman and talks about that experience.
Elfman's really good.
And he was talking about how Danny Elfman was talking to him about how to, score the film and he could just make a bunch of samples for him to listen to, but like, that's just sort of like until it actually feels right, it's right. And for the character and also that like Danny Elfman was basically like designing something to crescendo into a final theme. Like, and once you get, and you have to set those themes up early in the film. And this is in the same interview with Shawn Levy, where he talks about like you have to put these themes early in the film. Yeah. I learned from working with Danny Elfman, you got to put these themes early in the film because then like it will then pay off into this sort of like amalgamation of all the themes at some point or something like that, and in the third act, and you have to build to that and you have to earn that moment. And a lot of those moments in Star Wars are dependent on theme, and so I thought that was also super intriguing when he was talking about that, because to me that is also just has to be perfect. That's almost the chemical concoction of what an incredible Star Wars is, which is you start with these, these soft melodic themes for each character, and then those themes start to like really
evolve,
bolster and get louder and louder and more pronounced.
So yeah, I think that's really interesting. And to bring it back to music for a second, I feel like Williams, I mean, there's a documentary which I still need to watch, but like part of me thinks it's almost as simple as all of his biggest movies, every character has a theme. Jaws has a theme. Literally, Bruce the shark has a theme. Superman has a theme. E.T. has a theme, right? He writes themes for characters. So does Danny Elfman, right? You think about Elfman. Every character, Beetlejuice has a theme, right? Edward Scissorhands has a theme. Like he's just good at writing. They're both good at writing character themes, and that makes me very excited if they're going to go back to this. It doesn't need to be classically inspired, even if it's modern music, as long as certain characters have an identifiable theme. You're gonna work. It's gonna work.
I think the differentiation he was making, like every movie's score has a theme, right? But and it's like a poly theme, which is a little less like having multiple themes in the same movie that sort of all evolve and intertwine and then come together. I'm trying to think like Hans Zimmer is a god, right? But like he, I'm thinking about like Dark Knight, and he has multiple themes in there too. And like the theme for the Joker is insane, like my favorite theme of all time. It's because it's like a bee buzzing, and it's but it's a cello.
Right, but it works, right? It's not.
It's one cello note, and it just like makes your.
I literally heard it in my head the second you mentioned the Joker. I heard that in my head. Right? I think of that. I will literally read a Batman comic tomorrow, and if the Joker's in it, I will hear that theme in the back of my head.
With the like clock tick in the back, it's like it's sick. Anyway, so I'm excited about that. Like everything he's saying is just making me like, oh, this dude gets it. So, all right, this brings me to my final question about it. So, like, all right, what excites you? What scares you? So I'll start and let you guys think. I'll give you, this will be a warm question, not a cold question. So it's like, his commitment to making something brand new excites me. What scares me is it's a backhanded compliment. I mean, I don't know, or it's the other way around. He's so good at making populist movies. I'm afraid it'll be a little vapid. If he falls back on like, well, we're making this, primarily it's got to be a 4-quadrant thing. But like, what excites me is like him talking about that stranger. He's like, he has inclinations to do edgy things. That make it, like more of an art house picture, to make it like more of an, A24 thing, or like an avant-garde piece. And like, he has the desire to do that, but he's just really like, he's really good at empathizing with the person in the theater, with his audience, and what's going to go down the middle. And it's just sort of like, so which angel, or which Jedi on which shoulder does he listen to? The one that's like, well, Disney wants you to make this thing that everyone's going to love. Or is it like, am I going to allow myself to do some exciting, brave things with this movie?
Here, I can go after that, because I was thinking too while you're talking, and I agree with both of those. That's kind of in the front of my brain, but I'll try to do something a little different. What excites me is his ability to play within like a certain movie or a certain genre, but also be subversive, like that kind of that Deadpool Wolverine. Can you tell a Star Wars story but also do something new, right? It was exactly what you said, but be like subversive a little bit there. What makes me a little nervous, and I agree with what you said, I'm trying to think of something else, is that his last 3 movies were Ryan Reynolds movies. Literally the last 3. That scares me a little bit, of like,
because Ryan Gosling's like the other white meat Ryan Reynolds.
No, I would say different, variety of, in a major way though. Like very different.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Like Ryan Reynolds is so. I feel bad. I'm just gonna say he's a big personality. I like him quite a bit when he does stuff, but he kind of improvises, takes over. He has his love for these movies. You go back like Deadpool and Wolverine, The Atom Project, and Free Guy, last 3 movies, all Ryan Reynolds, all pretty good movies. And then before that, you get Night at the Museum, This Is Where I Leave You, The Internship, Real Steel, Date Night, kind of like goes down a little bit. And I'm like, so how much of the sauce is Levy? How much of the sauce is Reynolds? How much of the sauce is both of them together? Right? That makes me a little nervous.
Right. But I mean, you just described a curve that's on the way up.
That
and
is,
but his most recent movie is his best movie, arguably his best movie.
But
So
how much of the
as that curve
success of
started
those
going up, it
films-
was with Ryan Reynolds.
Well, now you have Ryan Gosling, which, like, I mean, if I'm picking a softball team, I'm picking Gosling before
I love
Reynolds.
Gosling. You just
But
asked me what
tonally,
I'm
they're very
nervous about.
different
That's what I'm nervous
ideas.
about. I don't necessarily feel that's going to be the issue, but it's there, right? Like if you look at his rise in the last 3 films, it's the one thing in common is Ryan Reynolds. That doesn't mean to say that's what did it, but that's there, right?
Yep.
So that makes me a little nervous, but
Or like how much of the success of those films and the craft of the filmmaking is sort of what drove the success, right? Or was it Ryan Reynolds? And what I think is actually just really funny, dialogue that he's just steadily improving on. Like Ryan Reynolds is basically like, synthesized a perfect like blend, a perfect sort of new vein of comedy in Deadpool and Wolverine that I didn't know existed in him, because I always thought a lot of it was sort of like hollow, and the first 2 Deadpool movies were funny, but they weren't like, I wasn't laughing out loud, and like Deadpool and Wolverine really got me, and I really think he's onto something if he can continue whatever that is. I almost think he should do like a prestige series or something and really just kind of like iron that out and get a lot out, but in a different show, in a different story. But and how much of that success is the filmmaking, or how much of the success is Ryan Reynolds and sort of his snarky dialogue and how that's
we'll never know. You have to guess, right? Like we'll never know. We'll literally
but
never
that's sort
know.
of what Adam's posing, and I think that's like just a really interesting insight in what's kind of what could be a worry for us. You know what I mean?
A little bit. I will say, I will say.
Let me just say this, and I hope I won't derail you.
No, go for it.
So what we've established is he is a filmmaker that's so prepared that he's willing to listen to and learn from and collaborate with his stars.
Yes,
with like the elite people that he works with.
We're also forgetting about Stranger Things too, and like his other work that's just awesome.
I mean, Stranger Things is. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of this season so far.
I haven't watched it yet.
I won't ruin it, but season 4 was a masterpiece. Season 4 was
so good.
Oh, like Master Puppets.
That's unbelievably amazing. Like a thing that I thought was just like, I'll watch this because it's fun and whatever. And I left that season going, I was like,
it's just super well crafted.
Okay.
I
was sort of like, that was fun. Okay.
I loved it.
I really, really loved it. I was gonna say, but I want to echo what you said, Ben, because you're right. You're replacing Ryan with another Ryan who is very charming. Though Ryan Gosling has yet to prove that he can open up a blockbuster film, because every time you attach him to a blockbuster film, it tends to flop, which makes me a little nervous.
Well, so this is one of the reasons why he thought that Gosling was so appealing, was sort of like he's never really done this for like an established IP and like a movie this big, and this is a step forward for him. But I'm excited about that. I think Gosling's amazing. Everything I've seen him in, I feel like we haven't seen Pete Gosling yet, and I think it could be in this movie.
Everything that flops is not his fault, right? I mean, and also he's a Barbie, which is not a flop. But in terms of like what he like, the Fall Guy was a pretty good, like better than I was expecting.
That's Reynolds.
No, Fall Guy is Gosling.
Oh, you're right.
You're thinking of Free Guy.
Oh my.
Free Guy.
Grant, you're allowed. There's like two letters that are different. There are 2 letters that are different. And like the other guys, too many guys.
A lot of guys.
The other guys with Russell Crowe.
Fall Guy was an awful movie, though.
What's that?
I thought Fall Guy was fun.
I thought it was really
Fall Guy was an awful movie.
I thought Fall Guy had a lot more going for it.
No reason that director needed him ever.
Wait, are you talking about the plot?
Purposes? Yeah, the plot.
I mean,
or the motivations of the Emily Blunt character. I was like, the Emily Blunt character does not need this guy.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It was bizarre. It was almost like Soul looking for a Padawan.
This is a screenwriter talking. This is great. The screenwriter. As I was watching the movie, I didn't think about it because I was just like, these 2 are charming and it's fun.
Oh, aren't we having fun? I know. I thought I would hate that movie.
I can't do that. I can't be won over by charm. I need like the character to make sense. It's like
basic.
And that's another thing. It's like, okay, Yeah. Okay, keep going, Adam.
No. I'm done.
No,
I want
continue.
please.
Please continue.
All I'm
why
gonna
you're
say
here.
is I'm
I
a
wanna
little
hear
worried
this.
about Gosling overexposure at this point. Like he's
Yeah,
precious
yeah,
Gosling
yeah.
from 2049 and Place
It's
Beyond
gonna
the
be 2
Pines.
years till we see him.
Only
That's
God
true.
Forgives and Drive. Like he's from like just my favorite movies, and it's just like I'm just worried that like he's entering this family friendly territory for like the last Project Hail Mary trailer I watched. I decided I will not go see that movie because I was just like, this is just maybe I'll bring my son, but like
Have you read the book?
I haven't. I
Go
know
see
it's quite a good read.
Go see the movie. The movie's going to be if they're following the book, the movie's going to be great. But I know what you mean.
Okay, I'm just a little worried that like we're entering this 4-quadrant Gosling era, and it's just weird. And I don't know. I like dark gray. Blade Runner is like one of my favorite movies of all time, and I'm just kind of
You're afraid of more of that. Too much Gosling. Of a good thing.
I don't know. I think.
Are you afraid Gosling will be too awesome in Starfighter?
Or are you afraid that he's playing it too safe? Is that what you're kind of getting at?
I'm afraid that his version of comedy is going to get stale. I mean, it's almost going to be like a Brando like SNL skit at some point, where it's just like the way you do a Gosling comedic moment is you sort of like you're incredibly handsome, then you just make like a wry little comment, like a self.
I mean, yes, that is
or something. And that's like what he does. And then Reynolds is way different in terms of being like just constant snark at like 110 miles per hour.
ADHD based comedy. I mean, that's what he is, and it's wonderful.
And I'm like the Gosling stuff is so good, and I like obviously Ken.
It's understated,
incredible because he's like dumb. And he's like he's like big ego, low intelligence, sort of like Gosling in Barbie's incredible. Like that vein of comedy is really funny. The sort of like I'm still a cool guy comedy is what I'm talking about. Like I'm still a cool guy, and here's my Han Solo. I'm like, and in Hail Mary, I know he's like a nerdy teacher, but it's like even then, I think he's going to be funny like the entire movie.
Yes,
like,
he will, but
that's like really funny.
And he is because that's how also Andy.
And none of the jokes landed on me in the last trailer. I was like, literally, I didn't laugh once at any of the jokes. I was like,
no, the jokes are rough in that trailer. I think they showed you all of the jokes in that trailer.
Yeah, they put like 100 jokes in that trailer.
I think that's all. I think that's all of them. But it is. If they do it, it's gonna be very heartfelt. But I know what you're saying, Grant, because his comedy is just a comedy of charm. Like all he does is a charm offensive in everything he's in, and it's interesting. I feel like it's going to be Han Solo undercut at every possible moment. Does that make sense? Like he's just going to be charming and whatever, and then there's going to be a wah moment quite a bit throughout the film. But we'll see. I mean, I like him a lot.
I'm tired of the archetype of like the beat down pilot guy. Like, Poe was so beat down in the sequels, like to the point where I was like, "Do we need to do this? This character should have died in the first movie." I was like, "What are we doing?"
Poe is beat down, but also like thought he knew everything, but then didn't, and then did, and then didn't, and then was apparently a spice runner, but that didn't matter, and then it did. Never mind. Can we just move on? I don't want to talk about Poe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. I just feel like he was just like another. You know what Ace pilots need to do? They need to get undercut. Like that's what Ace pilots.
Which is going to be Starfighter.
That's the contrast of an Ace pilot. An Ace pilot needs to constantly be arrested and be thrown in jail and like.
But isn't that what
and like
Gosling
on the ground? And then when they get into Starfighter, they're like disgusting behind the yoke.
But I think you just described.
Like, is
Gosling what he's going to do, right? Like the other guys, that's him, right? That's him to a T. And other guys, he's just constantly cut down.
You can't count on him. He's a deadbeat dad. He's like whatever, and he's like not great with this kid that they found in Ireland apparently.
Yeah,
and then but he gets and completely redeems himself behind the yoke of a cockpit, of a Starfighter.
And you're rooting for him because he's just
it just is the archetype of an Ace pilot, though, in Star Wars. Essentially, that's sort of like what happens with those characters.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Let's see how subversive he's going to get. But he's said that he wants this to be entirely new and entirely different and not derivative. So you can't make Gosling Han Solo.
But I'm just saying, like Indiana Jones, right? You're constantly throwing, like Indiana Jones, almost. You're constantly throwing him into more danger and just like, oh, how is he going to get out of this? Like, this is hilarious. That's almost what I see happening for Gosling, and with that will come a joke or something, and that brand of humor that's interesting. But I'm not like I didn't. Again, it's like a lot of the stuff's not hitting for me of this 4-quadrant family adventure,
Yeah.
Well, so
Riz,
you're
a
kind of
Riz.
saying this now, Grant, but like answer the thing. Like, what excites you and what scares you specifically?
Okay, what excites me is the idea that we're going to really hone in on the Starfighter sort of aesthetic and like the ships and the space battles and sort of what Rian Johnson was able to do in The Last Jedi, improve upon that and really push these space battles and like really, and like I love to see the ILM videos of the models and the ships and building, space battles from the ground up and trick photography and using real models. Like I love that stuff. That's my favorite stuff in Star Wars. So I'm really excited for those visuals in particular.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful to see like new starship designs, but it's fine. If they bring back X-Wings and TIE fighters, I don't blame them. What worries me is that it's gonna feel melodramatic, especially with Shawn Levy talking this much about the composer and the music and using music when he's shooting scenes to get people to feel a certain way. I'm a little worried. You're saying yes in a positive way. I'm worried that
No, I'm saying yes in an agreeing way.
Like it's gonna feel like
Yeah.
there's something. It's like he talks about earning things and doing things right, but I'm also worried that it's like the music is going to get us there instead of the story that I'm supposed to, be vested in.
Yeah,
that's what I'm worried about.
I mean, it's similar. Behind the scenes, I was talking about Green Book. I won't go into my whole detail about that, but sometimes you can manipulate a person or a viewer just through a way a scene is shot and music, and it's not earned.
Like Stranger Things, like the music is booming, and that's sort of really driving how you feel about the moment. And obviously, the licensed music that they have certain ideas and feelings within them.
I mean, season 5's an example of that, where they keep being like big reveal, boom, and I'm like, I know, I figured it out like an hour and a half.
And Deadpool Wolverine plays on tropes, right? Like everything in the movie is a trope, and so it's like you instantly know what's going to happen next because it's setting you up for this entire trope.
Yeah, that's kind of my fear too. I was thinking about this when I was talking about it, and Ben, you kind of hit on this a little bit, but like the third act of Deadpool Wolverine just suddenly turns into a very Marvel-y thing where I'm just like, I do not care about him having to sacrifice himself because he's not going to be dead, and he's not dead. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I almost fall asleep in that part of Deadpool Wolverine.
Yes,
and it's weird for a movie that kept me on the edge of my seat and laughing throughout. Like I loved it. And then the final moment where they have to do a classic MCU third act. I also thought it was a crime that Wolverine didn't have the shoulder.
I know.
Pauldrons or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
Those pieces. I was like, what is going? I was astonished. I was like, we need a redux. We need to do a remaster.
Just for the costume design.
It was like, we need special editions. Like I need the shoulder pads. They're just important to me, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, then the whole like the was it like a time distortion machine? I don't know what it was, but that whole sequence, I was like, I don't care about this.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it was all music driving your feeling about that.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Adam, he did talk about in detail is like on set, he's playing different cues from Thomas Newman's other movies, like on set to try and motivate the characters a little bit, and they love it. Apparently the actors love it, but that's sort of that's something that he's doing. So it's going to be propped up with music, but again, it's like you take John Williams' score out of the original trilogy and you don't have very good movies.
Yeah, that makes me worried about the melodrama too. Like you're acting to the music as opposed to acting to the moment. Makes me a little nervous.
Like the moment alone can't create that feeling,
right?
Almost, like engineer it. I was like that. Yeah, I mean, but
the
again,
way
it could be a great tactic.
The way I perceived it was it's sort of like nuance, right? Like, okay, you've got it, but it's like then you have this sort of feeling next to it, like with the music, and that just veers you a couple of degrees in a different direction than you would have taken it. That might make it better, and that's kind of how I read it. I don't know if that's true at all, but again, like eternal optimist over here. So
I think he also said the actors loved the music and wanted to continue.
Yeah, and you want happy actors for sure.
Yeah. I will say, Ben, Mission accomplished. I am much more excited and hopeful about Starfighter now than I was.
Yeah, I mean, because we were kind of framing this movie as like another sort of just pandering to get like butts and seats for Disney, you know, like we think Grogu, like if we're being cynical, our cynical selves, like it's just like, well, yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu is for like populist sort of film, and we'll get some people in the theater, and then we'll do it again with Starfighter, and then maybe you'll get some lore in other movies if they ever come out. But this makes me think like, okay, it's this Kathleen Kennedy thing. There's so much we don't know, but her just like at the time she gave him this movie with essentially carte blanche. She's like, I don't care what era you make a movie in. I don't care what story you want to tell. You can just make your movie and do it. And he just picked this time period. He's moving the story forward, which is a good choice. You know, it's after Rise of Skywalker, 5 years after that. And you know, and then like he's carving out this little pocket for himself there. That's an interesting choice. He could have gone back. He could have gone in the heart of the rebellion to make this. So, you know, I think that's what Jenkins probably wanted to do. I don't know that for sure, but like it felt that way. Like, and he was like, no, I'm going to do the story there. It's an intriguing time period for him to choose. And, you know, I'm bullish on him. I think everyone grows, and I'm like hoping he'll make his best movie. You know, I didn't think Tony Gilroy would make his best, like, I mean, you know, whatever, this could be argued, but like,
no, he says it himself. It's like the best thing he's ever done. He's like, because his friends keeps in interviews, he's constantly like, you know, a lot of my friends won't, you know, as fellow screenwriters and intellectuals won't like treat this work seriously, but like I keep telling him this is probably the best thing I've ever done. I think it's a verbatim quote.
I mean, the fact that it didn't win Best Dramatic Series is just a travesty. Yeah, and I don't even mean that as a Star Wars fan.
It has all of the best things I've ever loved about Tony Gilroy taken to another order of magnitude. And I was like, I hoped for that, but I never really expected that because I thought that was too much to ask for. So, you know, I mean, Star Wars has that way about it, and and maybe Levy will figure that out. We'll, you know, grasp that. We'll see.
I hope so.
What got me most excited for this, it wasn't actually this interview with Shawn Levy. It was a recent interview I heard with Mia Goth, and she said, she didn't give anything away about the film or her role, but she said working with Shawn Levy is just incredible. He's so giddy and has this childlike, you know, wonder, and it feels like he's really like sort of having a great time, and he creates like such a wonderful atmosphere on set, and that just got me really hyped because I was just like, it just sounded like this is a really fun director for actors to work with, and they must feel really comfortable, and therefore we might get some really great performances.
Right. You add in with the fact that he's giving them license to make the script better and do their own things and add their own personality into it, and it's a safe space for them to, you know, be creators in and of their own. I mean, there's a lot of room for a lot of good things to happen. I mean, so Adam, the other part of this that he talked about, which is dark, and he just was like, went right through it. So I'm not giving it away here. It's like, he had an alcoholic mom, and he was forced to essentially be the parent from, like, he said, like 6 years old. Like he had to really take over. So his like childhood was stolen from him in a lot of ways. And that's kind of his superpower, where a lot of what he's doing is creating characters that give him his childhood back. Yeah. And, you know, and it's like, and that's how he can empathize with kids and young people and get them excited about the films and making these like stories that he wish he had in his own life, which is dark as hell.
It's dark, but it's a common story. Like children of alcoholic parents are parentified. Parentification is a thing. I won't go too personally because both my parents are great. I love them very much. There's a reason I latched on to Star Wars, right? Yeah. Like very similar is that it's the thing that connects me back to being a child when there was a lot of my childhood that was somewhat stolen away from me at times. Right. And so there's a reason there. And so that's, I identify with that, not to the level that he was dealing with that for sure. It sounds like
we don't know the full story, right?
But it's something there. And I think kind of to go back to something else that we were talking about, what makes me a little hopeful about this, very hopeful actually, is that the thing I'm worried about with Mandalorian and Grogu, and I just don't want to beat up on this film, but it just feels like this is like, we need to get $1 billion. We need to get butts and seats. Just tell a story, and then we'll just drop some lore for the rest of them, right? Yeah. And it's nothing against Favreau, who I love. I just think he has a mandate that he has to fulfill. And I could be completely wrong, and I hope I am. And I think Levy was more, what you said makes me excited of just like, they don't care if there's lore there. There might be, there might not. I don't even care if there's lore there. Just tell me a compelling Star Wars story. And if there's nothing that moves forward the lore, fine, as long as it's a good story, right? That's not just trying to get people in the theater.
Skeleton Crew was a good story, but
yeah,
I want more from this movie than I got from Skeleton Crew, and I have no complaints about Skeleton Crew whatsoever.
Well, Skeleton Crew felt like which I really, really enjoyed, but at times it felt like they wanted to do lore but then couldn't. Does that make sense? Like there was like
they hit the guardrails, and that
right, the guardrails were really visible,
right, because nothing was revealed in that show. But it was a great Star Wars.
Yeah, the kids are great. I think it's one of the best. Yeah, I'm so excited that she's Buffy. Or not Buffy, but the next Slayer in the Buffy verse. Yeah.
And then I'm excited about the film for the most part. I do like one last worry, and just get this out of the way. I do worry that Star Wars has felt like the Young Avengers for the last decade, and there's been a lot of like the whole Lone Wolf and Cub storyline in Mandalorian, and then you brought up Skeleton Crew, and even The Acolyte had a whole story with kids, and I just wonder if
that's right.
I just wonder if we can return to I wonder if Starfighter is going to continue in that mold and sort of like
we already know there's
keep
a kid.
The Harry Potter vibes going, and I almost wish we could evolve and go back to like, hey, we have 3 burgeoning adults. They're coming of age. It's still an adult story, but it's also a coming of age story.
Right.
And we don't have to get down to like, preteens and teen stories. Like the idea of like you're becoming an adult is so central to Star Wars, and I just don't want to lose that aspect. And
that's right. I mean,
I really think there's been a lot of kids lately, and it's great. Yeah. Bring your family. Like I love it. I bring my son to these things. It's great.
Yeah, no, I know.
And he liked Skeleton Crew, and he loved Acolyte, and I like Acolyte too. We've loved watching that together. It's just I'm just wondering if Starfighter's going to be more of that, and if that's going to kill the mood for me in terms of like, I miss Luke, Han, and Leia. Like I miss. So and even Rey and Finn felt young to me, and like I'm just confused about.
You can make
even though they were like the same age as Mark Hamill and whatnot.
Well, I mean, like original trilogy, really. It's like you can make a story that's appealing to very, very young kids without having very, very young kids in the story. Right. It's like, Luke is like kind of our avatar, and you're like, it's something that a young person aspires to being. And it's like, I can be Luke Skywalker.
And he's coded like a child. Like we all make fun of him because he really is coded like an infant. Like
it's true. One of the biggest misunderstandings of the 21st century filmmaking with children, and I am going to say this is very sweeping, but I feel it's true, is that not filmmakers, the corporations that run films think that kids can only identify with kids, and kids are only interested when kids are on screen. And what they should have learned from the 80s is I watched only a couple movies with kids and a lot of movies with like adults. And I watched my daughter and
teenagers.
Yeah. And she likes kid stuff, but she wanted to watch, some high school. Oh, she wanted to watch like some high school movie. And we're like, okay. And we knew it was okay, but she wants to identify with older people. Like
that's what young people are like. I'm going to be an adult someday, and I can't wait for that. And I want to be big. I want to grow older now. Like, oh, I'm 4.5. I'm 4 3/4. I'm 5, and
and everyone can identify with that age. She so wants to watch Force Awakens because she just is so excited about Rey, and that will be in a couple weeks. We're gonna watch that together. But like, because that's what she's excited about. Is there's a grown to her vision, a grown up woman, right, that she can identify with.
That's young and figuring out her life and about to embark on an adventure.
I feel like that they did that with the sequel trilogy, and they were nervous, right? It's all not, and I hear you, Grant, it's young, but there's no kids in
they were the same age as pretty much,
but I know what you mean.
I don't know, it felt like we're very innocent young kids who are, it's almost like Rey, I love Rey as a character, but she's almost like a blank slate.
I think they do
in a lot of ways, where it's like, it's almost like
past.
It's just a coming of age story, but you don't know anything about me. And Luke this is a farm boy, repressed on this farm, and sheltered, and wants to get off world, but has to work another season, and everything was not coming together for him, at all.
Most kids can identify with that story who have parents, and they feel like they're stuck where they are. But I was gonna say, I feel like sequel trilogy, there's no kids. The movies did gangbusters. The movie did huge, but I think they were worried that they weren't getting the next generation, and they just hard pivoted to everything has to have kids in it now.
Yeah.
It's so strange to me. I don't really understand that.
It's
And
another thing
Starfighter's
we don't
continuing
know.
that trend.
And so John Dropper is the writer on this with Shawn, and we'll see. I mean, did he get an edict? I don't know. These are things that if we ever got a chance to talk to a creator, like, what's that like? I'm just, we'll probably never know.
No,
you know how much they sort of impose on you as far as doing that. But I mean, it makes sense if you want to make a 4-quadrant movie. It's like we got to put a child actor in here, and the way he talked about, I don't have the actor's name, the young actor's name, but he's like, we found him in Ireland, is all he said, and he's like it feels like I discovered this acting prodigy in Ireland that's gonna carry this movie, and he seemed really excited about that young actor that's going to be in Starfighter, but we'll see.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So you all just listened to a podcast about a podcast. Thank you. I'm sorry. You're welcome. I'm sorry. This has been super fun, but these are the things we have to look forward to. Like, I'm pretty excited about this. This is a lot of new information that we can sink our teeth into that we hadn't gotten, and we'll see.
All in all, Starfighter is going to be a great time.
I know.
don't want to be
great.
short.
I will not be mad. It's weird that I feel like we know more about this movie than we do Mandalorian Grogu.
Yeah, that's
right.
Cool.
Isn't that weird?
We're gonna like composer. We know like we kind of know how he's directing and the process and behind the scenes. And
I mean, we know
nothing about Mando and Grogu. I know. All I've seen is the trailer.
It's Ludwig.
But no one's been talking about that film. Like, there's no interviews. Yeah. Like, Favreau's not talking to anyone. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that Shawn said is, so we got those 2 images that have just like leaked out. And he's like, everyone thinks that like Lucasfilm is so like strict. He's like, I was on set. I saw this image. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was like, one was a screen test. It was just like, how does like Gosling look sitting on a speeder? And the other one was actually them filming in the Mediterranean. And he was just like, both times he like took a screenshot with his phone, and like, apparently Kathleen's on set, like she's there.
Mm.
And he was like, he's like, is it cool if I post this? And she's like, yeah. And so we did.
I thought they had to make a Disney like legal call or something, but I don't know.
But it's like totally impromptu. There was no marketing.
There's CLO.
Like, there's nothing around it that was contrived. It was just like, these are like, he's like, these images move me and motivate me and get me excited. He's like, I want to share this with the world. And she's like, yeah, do it.
Yeah, Star Wars needs a Tom Holland. Tom Holland is key for going on every talk show and accidentally spoiling things that he's not supposed to talk about.
That is the best take I've ever heard on Star Wars in the last 5 years. Because like, we need this as fans.
It builds hype, and that's what they need. They need someone who goes in and quote unquote accidentally says something they're not supposed to say.
Yeah.
Well, I like getting the picture of the movie from Tom Holland. Like, I like he'll say something that's so revealing that I'm like, ooh, I can kind of picture what this is going to be, and I get really excited.
It doesn't really ruin anything. It just
doesn't ruin anything. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like in our lifetimes we'll see a Tom Holland Star Wars.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. As long as we don't see a Tom Holland Bond, that's all I don't want to happen.
If you build up the expectations to like the extent that they do with just like big bombastic trailers and zero information, it's like, if you just trickle it out a little bit, I think those expectations won't be so heightened and people won't be so aggressive and crazy online. It's like, I think that's the problem with Star Wars these days, is they feel like
too tight.
They're the only ones who know the serum, and you'll take the medicine. And I don't know if that's the best approach. It's like, I know Ben likes it. I'm not there yet. I'm like anti-official in a lot of ways, where I'm like, I almost want this to be like a renegade thing with like some outside of a corporation again. Like, I'm dying for Star Wars to almost go back to being an indie, like independent.
Yeah, it should have that indie flair. No, I'm there with you, man. You know me. I'm the most anti-capitalist
unfortunately
bro in the blog. Like, no,
unfortunately, it's extremely successful.
It's extremely, but it's extremely successful. So therefore, it shall be a corporate juggernaut.
It's going to be well funded. That's the way it is. You know,
we are now down to what, 2 major corporations owning all of
Yeah.
all of film industry now.
Netflix
So
bought
eventually,
Warner Brothers.
I know.
Just
Yeah, I
letting you
saw
know.
him. Yeah.
So
Wow.
eventually this is all going to have to get broken apart in probably 5-10 years. This is what happens. It's like,
If
it
we
goes in a
ever have time to
cycle.
do antitrust like lawsuits again, like,
I mean,
can we start with
2.5
Ticketmaster
years.
first? That's the first antitrust like case that needs to be tried.
Who do they own? It's wild. Like, they
Well,
must
the next
own
season of the
everything.
studio.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not the 3rd season of the studio. Comment on this because that would be awesome.
That would be amazing.
Someone needs to take down like Ticketmaster.
I guess
They
it's an
need to be
Apple. Is that an
stopped.
Apple show?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is an Apple show,
I
but
just
it
wanted to
should
go.
be
I
called-
just wanted to go to a stupid comedy show. I'm going to like one next week with like Eugene Merman and like.
Yeah,
it's like tickets are $25, but you're going to pay $75 because Ticketmaster just is going to extort you for $25. Like,
amount I'm paying to see 9 Inch Nails is obscene. It is literally more than I paid from 16 to 18 to see every single show I ever saw from 16 to 18. I think added together, it's probably how much I am paying to see 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very happy to see it, but
we have Ticketmaster to thank for it. All the artists are against them, but it's just like none of them. Even Taylor Swift couldn't take down.
What are you gonna do? You have to. You're not gonna play there. You have to. Like, it's a monopoly.
They own all the venues.
That's how
what are you gonna do?
work. Yeah.
Bernie, help us. You're our only hope. In the Clone Wars, you helped my father. Yeah. Bernie would be a really funny Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I know. I was just literally picturing him as Obi-Wan. It'd be amazing.
Wait, Bernie Sanders?
Yeah.
He's the only one that cares about antitrust lawsuits.
You must do what you feel is right, of course.
Of course.
Just wearing mittens.
Yeah.
Or mittens on Tatooine.
Mittens in the desert.
Yep.
All right, and we're fully off the rails now.
Yeah, I think
this is super fun. We're gonna end this podcast and then talk about Star Wars for 3 more hours, as we're wont to do. But thanks very much for listening to us. I'm excited about the future of Star Wars and what we're gonna get if once we get it. And yes, there will be more campaign pods coming. I'm really excited to continue that going. And y'all are great. Thanks very much for listening to us. We'll talk to you next week on Cantina Chronicles. Thank you for listening to this episode of Cantina Chronicles. Please like and subscribe wherever you listen to this pod. You can reach us at Cantina Chronicles on Instagram or cantinachronicles@gmail.com.